So while I do want Ilya Taporia to move up to lightweight, there are still a lot of interesting things he can get involved in at featherweight still. I just think that he's on this rise right now where I feel like he definitely should fight Islam next. But I could also see me getting ahead of myself a bit because there are still fighters, who I think could, I guess, do something. Well, I feel like most of the featherweight division is largely outmatched when fighting Ilya Taporia. You still got to think about Evloev. You still got to think about Aljamain Sterling. You still maybe got to think about Diego Lopez, and you still got to think about Conor McGregor. For this video, I'm gonna touch on Aljamain. Uh, Now Aljamain is fighting Evloev soon, and I know Aljamain has a long road ahead of him to even face Ilya because he's got to get through Evloev, and then he's probably got to get through either Volk or Diego Lopez. So Aljamain still has a long way to go, but I think that fight will be interesting. And what makes it so interesting to me is what Aljamain said on his podcast when talking about a potential fight between him and Ilya. Because he mentioned he doesn't want to strike with the guy. That's something smart. That's a smart move. Now while I do know that not many MMA fans even like Aljamain because he could be a bit of an actor, especially given his fight against Peter Yan. And his fighting style may not be the most entertaining because there are a lot of back takes and grappling involved. I still think he's a winner, and I still think he's a champ, and I still think he's a good fighter. He finds ways to win. Not all the time. Of course, he's been defeated. He's been embarrassed by Sean O'Malley. But he's moved to featherweight, and it feels like he's written a new story for himself, a new chapter. He's opened up a new chapter for himself, And he could very well get through Evloev. It's a very, very tough fight. It's a very tough fight. I do have him winning, even though Evloev has a really tight, Russian grappling style. I feel like Aljamain is just so naturally good at that at back takes and grappling in general that I like his chances against Evloev. Now, do I like his chances against Ilya? That's the real question because again, Ilya is a heavy hitter, and nobody at featherweight can seemingly survive a full 5 rounds of stand-up with Ilya. I don't think Aljamain would either. But Aljamain, like I said, did mention he doesn't want to strike with Ilya. He doesn't want to. He wants to grapple. He wants to try his best and see who wins the grappling match. He referred to a future fight with Ilya as a grappling match. A smart thing. Not the most entertaining thing, I get it, but a smart thing from a fighter's perspective. Because you do the things that are going to most likely get you the win. Okay? From the fighter's perspective, the main theme of boxing, hit and don't get hit. MMA, do the fucking most low-risk things for the highest reward, in my opinion. Okay? And I think that's what Aljamain is looking to do, and I respect him for it. I think grappling with Ilya as a really high-level grappler is a good idea. Because Ilya's grappling is elite. Don't get me wrong. It is. But against a guy like Aljamain, with, again, really beautiful back taking, is a different thing. Now, of course, Aljamain has to get there. Aljamain has to secure a takedown or secure a trip in the clinch or something to get Ilya to the ground. And I damn sure know it's not going to be knocking Ilya out or dropping Ilya. Even though Aljamain's striking is pretty good. It's pretty awkward. And that, leaves openings for him to connect on a lot of different things. But again, against a really skillful, powerful motherfucker like Ilya, it's going to be really hard to do. So, again, all of this relies on Aljamain, getting Ilya to the ground in general. I think it's possible, though. I think it's possible. Aljamain's just gonna have to do the little tricks that he does, like dip his head to the, bottom of the mat to try to block off the front of his face, so Ilya can't connect on him because it's illegal to hit the back of the head. Stuff like that Aljamain is known for and does well, to kind of secure some ground game fighting in there. So I think it's complicated, but I think it's fun, in terms of like a, strategy, IQ standpoint. And I think all of that kind of gives Aljamain a good chance. It really does. He's a smart guy. He's not doing the dumb thing and going, oh, well, this Ilya guy, I'm going to strike with him, man. Fuck it, man. I'm the real striker. I'm going to strike with Ilya, and I'm going to put him out. Because, yeah, he may have power, and yeah, he may have boxing, but my boxing is so great, and I went to this boxing school, and I got these 3 medals back when I was in the amateurs, and I'm gonna somehow, by some fucking miracle, knock out the most powerful and best striker the UFC has seen for some fucking time. He's not doing that. He's doing the smart thing. He's going to go to the ground, and he's going to see who comes out on top in a grappling match. Again, not the most entertaining, but not stupid or dumb from a fighter standpoint either. It's smart. And I think it makes the fight interesting. And if I had to give you guys a concrete decision and prediction, even though this fight wouldn't really happen until like 2026, 2027, maybe, I don't know. Who knows? It depends on if Ilya stays at featherweight or not. Because I feel like once Ilya makes the move to lightweight, it's really hard to cut the weight and bring himself back down to featherweight. But if this fight were to happen, I'm going to live on the wild side and say Aljamain. I'll say there are ways to get around the heavy shots of Ilya, especially in the first few rounds, because Ilya likes to study his opponent and kind of take his time before he starts wailing on him. Not all the time, but I think in the first minute, I think there's room for you to do a couple things, okay, against Ilya. And I think Aljamain could take advantage of that and get himself to the ground with Ilya by some means, something. Like I said, I'm thinking a double leg, a single leg, maybe utilize some of that awkward striking to get openings for those, and bring the fight to the ground immediately, and then just work from there, and continue using awkward striking styles or awkward strikes to find those openings and continuously bring the fight to the ground and really just dodge fighting on the feet. And again, while it's not the most entertaining way, it still is enlightening and educational from a fighting standpoint, trying to study the game and see just how this guy can use a different type of method to overwhelm or control the fight, to bring the guy he's fighting to an area that a lot of fighters haven't been able to bring him to. And that's just it, So, right now, I'll edge towards Aljamain, but again, we have a couple of years. I think that this fight will take probably a year and a half, maybe 2 to make. So we got some time to think about it. But right now, I'll go Aljamain. But I just want to put this video out there to make you guys think about this real quick, because I think it's pretty interesting. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next.